Jackson Storm has, in my opinion, easily one of the lamest expanded universe lineups of any Cars diecast. For the longest time, all the Jackson Storm variants we got always felt so samey to me, barely looking any different from his regular design. It felt like they just never did enough to differentiate these new Jacksons from the original design from the movie. Even Jackson's NASCAR variant, coming from a line where all the other racers look so different from their traditional counterparts, falls short, just looking like a regular Jackson with a bit more blue on him. But then something changed. Last year, we got GRC Jackson Storm, a Jackson Storm that took his design and evolved it to brand new heights. Sure, he still looks pretty similar to the original Jackson, but this version added so many brand new elements, different colors, different designs, and an excellent facial expression, making easily one of the best Jackson Storm diecasts of all time. And then they did it again, with Glow Racers Jackson Storm being another stellar variant of the character that still looks similar but different. And while I'm really not the biggest fan of a lot of the rally race cars, as I'm sure you no doubt know if you've seen my other reviews on them, I'm genuinely really excited to take a look at Jackson's variant in the line, since it looks like they took what they learned from his GRC variant and applied it in a brand new way, making another new Jackson that looks quite different from anything we've seen from the character before, while still matching the character quite well. And honestly, just looking at it, I think this is going to be a pretty solid item. Hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another review, and to another Race and Rescue diecast review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Rally Race Jackson Storm, the final Rally Race 200 car that we have here to take a look at on the channel. We got Jackson's artwork here, of course, just a modified photoshopped version of his pre-existing art. At first, I thought they made a mistake and left his hood blank, but the Rally Race logo is on there. It's just very, very faint. The diecast here has it in a pretty bold silver, and then, Jackson just, I don't know, it almost looks like, it's pretty hard to see, honestly. I wish they made it quite a bit brighter on the artwork, but whatever. You, of course, have that fantastic Race and Rescue card back artwork. Regardless of your thoughts on the line, regardless of my thoughts on the line, I think that this card back artwork is one of the coolest ones we've ever gotten. New for 2025 logo there, Jackson's name down at the bottom, and of course his number inside of the bubble. On the back of the package, we have Sarge, McQueen, Chick Hicks, and Red. I've reviewed these three, and I actually now have all the Race and Rescue items except for Red. And I'm also missing Red's color changer, so here's hoping I could get them at some point very soon. I really want to get Red. He's going to be a very interesting item to take a look at, but, you know, I'm not surprised that Red's been hard to find. I mean, I didn't find Red and Jackson for the longest time. These two were in a wave together. Now I finally have Jackson, and here's hoping I can get Red at some point soon. So here is Jackson Storm out of the package, and yeah, right off the bat, this is another Jackson Storm with a really solid facial expression. They've been knocking it out of the park with his faces recently, and I think that he looks really good here. The first thing I'm noticing about him right out of the box is that his color scheme is actually a bit darker than usual. Instead of that dark gray, it looks like they fully painted him black. Or maybe just a very, very, very dark gray, in the words of Lego Batman. Yeah, this is definitely, yeah, he's fully black and blue here. Alright, honestly, this looks even cooler than I thought. I didn't realize he was a darker color than usual. I thought he was his typical gray, but no, they went even darker with the color scheme, and it honestly looks really cool on him. We have the Rally Race logo here in silver, which also looks insanely cool. It looks like mine has a bit of a smear next to the R on the race. That is unfortunate, but man, that logo looks great with the metallic silver. It really pops out. And that's the thing. The decals on this guy pop out. If you've watched any of my other Rally Race diecast reviews, you know that my biggest issue with this line are the accent colors. For whatever reason, they decided to have gray and dark blue be the accent colors for all the racers in this line, and in my opinion, typically, it just really doesn't work. Those are two colors that are typically very dull and don't work well with other colors, and so they make cars where the hood logos and the sides just look kind of boring and just all kind of mesh into each other. Using Cruz as an example here, I don't think she's the best example. I think the best example in the line would be Jeff, but Cruz was just the first item I had on hand. It just looks kind of boring with the dark blue and the gray. They're just not the most exciting colors, but Jackson does something that I think honestly would have saved the entire line. Instead of using a dull, boring gray, they gave him silver. Silver here on the hood, and metallic shiny silver here on both of his sides. Why they didn't choose silver from the start for all of the racers in this line, I have genuinely no idea. And I think, honestly, it single-handedly would have saved those boring designs. Look at Cruz here, and think of how much more the colors on this car would pop if just these little gray parts were done in silver instead. Think of any of the cars in the line. Jeff, right? Bunch of gray on him. Even Chick Hicks, who's easily one of the best looking rally racers. If that back part on him were silver, like, I think all of these would be such home runs if you just made the gray parts silver like they did here on Jackson. Because then the colors are actually highlighted and popping out. And I have no clue why they did it on just Jackson and none of the others, but that easily contributes to Jackson being one of the best items in the line. The color usage on him is also just really great. I think Jackson kind of has an advantage because he already has blue and gray on his traditional design. But yeah, even the dark blue on him here works, and it is put in places where it works and makes sense. Like a lot of the racers in the line, he has it on the spoiler here, and they also just made his S that darker blue with the red highlight that a lot of the text in this line has. Yeah, even the red accent color works perfectly fine here. We've got the Rally Race logo very clear and crisp on the side, and down here we even have his Igniter Liquid Adrenaline logo, which is pretty cool. Another one of my favorite details on this item is a really weird one, and I don't know why it was done, but it is pretty cool. They made his windows blue for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm not going to complain. That honestly looks sick and really adds to the great design of this item. I do wish that the back wheels were silver instead of a flat gray, but whatever. They already went out of their way to make the rest of Jackson's gray silver. So yeah, here's another paint smudge on him. Great. I got two paint smudges on the silver. On the back, we got the Rally Race 200 logo, the 2.0 there, and just some little blue highlights. Not much going on there on the back. There is a look at the other side, and finally, there is a look at the base. And yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but once again, they've knocked it out of the park with the Jackson Storm variant. This is the third Jackson Storm in the row that has become easily one of my favorite items in the line. I wouldn't say my favorite in the entire line, but he's probably top 5. And with a line like Race and Rescue with almost 20 releases, that's certainly saying something. Wow, we got the GRC Jackson, which is one of the best GRCs. We got the Glow Racer Jackson, which is one of the best Glow Racers. And now, of all items, Rally Race Jackson Storm is a highlight, in my opinion, which I genuinely can't believe. Honestly, when I saw Jackson was in this line, I was like, okay, here we go. Here's another Jackson. But they've been killing it with Jackson Storm variants lately. One of my big complaints for Rally Race Cruz was that she was too similar to the GRC one. With Jackson, it looks like they took what they learned from the GRC design and just did something new. And I think that's really, really great. So once again, I can't believe I'm saying this, we have another great Jackson Storm, and man, I am very happy to see that. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this review. Let me know what you think about this item down in the comments, and also let me know what you think about the silver. Do you think that the other rally racers would look better if they used silver for them, or am I just absolutely insane? Could go either way. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.